Hola, bienvenido a Spanish Boost with Jesús. Hoy vamos a continuar la lección del presente simple en español. Y vamos a aprender la conjugación número 2, los verbos con ¿Estás listo? As I said in Spanish, today we're going to continue with the lesson about simple present in Spanish. But today we're going to talk about the second category, verbs. The advantage today is that you don't have to learn the very first part of the simple present because you already know how to use it, right? And when you have to use it. So, if you remember the conjugation for verbs, this is going to be easier. So today we're going to go straight to the new endings, and then we're going to focus on the new verbs that you need to learn so you can express what you want to say in different situations with verbs. Aquí tenemos las nuevas conjugaciones con verbos con Entonces vamos a ver una por una lentamente. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you don't know what an ending is, I recommend you to watch the first video that I have about verbs and the introduction for simple present so you can learn how to conjugate every single verb in Spanish according to some rules that we have. So let's go with the endings. Here we have the new endings for verbs. Aquí tenemos las nuevas terminaciones con verbos con So the first one is always going to be yo. You already know that yo means I. And the ending for this verb is going to be o. Yo ends in o, so we're always going to be using an o. The verb that we're using today is the verb beber, which means to drink. Okay? So, the first one is going to be o. Número dos, tú. Tú uses es. Tú bebes. Remember the tú ending is always going to be with an S. Después tenemos él, ella, usted, he, she, and you formal. In this case, it is going to end with an E. Because remember, we're talking about an verb, so we're going to use the same letter. It's the same as tú without the S. Then we have nosotros or nosotras. Nosotros masculine, nosotras feminine. So the ending is going to be hemos. Bebemos. Nosotros bebemos, nosotras bebemos. Después tenemos ellos, ellas, ustedes. Ellos, ellas, ustedes uses en. The pronunciation is beben. Beben. And the last one, vosotros is only used in Spain. And the ending in this case is going to be eis, with an accent. Eis. Vosotros or vosotras bebéis. ¿Claro? Okay. So let's review the way we conjugate a verb in Spanish, but now with an verb. So we can use another one. For example, in this case, we can use the verb comer. Comer means to eat. So I'm going to show you how to conjugate the verb comer from zero. Pay attention. Listo, entonces vamos a conjugar el verbo comer. Let's conjugate the verb to eat. You know that we have 3 steps. The first one is going to be, to separate the ending. So if the verb is comer, we're going to separate the ending from the first part of the verb, right? So we get comer. Then, what do we have to do? If we had comer, we drop the ending. And we only get the very first part of the verb, which is the root. You remember that? The root of the verb. And then the next step is to add the new ending to the verb. Or, in this case, to the root of the verb that we already have. So, for example, if I'm going to conjugate it for yo, you have to go to the list and look for the ending that we use for yo. In this case is o. So the ending is going to be o. So we get the root first and then we add the new ending. Yo como. And that's it. Or for example, if it's going to be for nosotros, well, nosotros, and then what's the ending that we use for nosotros? We have com, and then hemos, as you can see here. Comemos. And that's how you do it with every single subject that you have on the list. Como puedes ver, es un proceso muy fácil y que solamente necesita de memorización. O sea, que tú debes practicar y aprenderte todas las terminaciones para los verbos con er. So as you can see, it's a very simple process. You only have to memorize all these endings for er verbs, so you will be able to conjugate verbs like correr, or maybe aprender, or vender. Of course, there are a lot of er verbs in Spanish, and that's why I'm going to drop a list in the description of the video so you can practice and memorize all these new words, so you can also conjugate them in any conversation that you have. Ahora vamos a practicar. I'm going to show you 3 sentences and you have to conjugate the verb that is in parentheses. Pay attention to the subject in this sentence and try to use the list that I gave you before. Okay? So pause the video, take your time, do it, and then check your answers with me. Bien, felicitaciones, ya ves, es muy fácil, solamente debes estudiar y practicar. So that was it for today, guys. Thank you so much for your attention. Remember, we have 3 categories. This is the second one, so make sure you watch the next video that I'm going to record and upload here in my new channel. If you liked this video, let me know in the comments and make sure you activate the notification so you can watch the next video about verbs with ir. Okay, so this was Spanish Boost with Jesús. Muchas gracias y adiós.